Alright, for this video I want to go through a sample form 8936 for a clean vehicle tax credit, and this is going to be for the 2023 tax year. So we've got the 8936 here with the Schedule A attachment where we report information on the specific vehicle, and it is part of the full 1040 return for this taxpayer. So we'll go through all of the schedules and forms and worksheets that are required. I do have one slide here covering some background on this credit, and then we've also got a couple of websites here covering some more details on what it means to qualify. So we'll talk about critical mineral requirement, the battery component requirement, and we've got the FuelEconomy.gov site, which is a great resource to look up the specific vehicle that you have, and then they'll let you know the credit amount that is going to be available. So if we start with just some basic background on this credit, this is a credit for electric vehicles, so vehicles that are basically passenger automobiles. They're used on public roads, and they draw power from a battery. Now, when you purchase the vehicle new, the dealer should provide you all this information on whether or not it qualifies, right? I mean, that's part of the sales pitch. But you can also go to these websites and look up exactly what kind of vehicle it is you have and determine whether or not you qualify for the credit and how much. Now, some basics on the credit amounts. So generally, when we talk about this, we're looking at a $7,500 tax credit for the vehicle. But the $7,500 credit is really two components. So it's a $3,750 credit if the vehicle meets the critical minerals requirement, and then you get another $3,750 if you have the battery component. So that's the $7,500. Now, if the vehicle only meets one of these components, then you're only going to get half the credit. And so that's what we're going to see in this example is we have a taxpayer that buys a vehicle that only gets one half of that $7,500 credit. Now, the business and personal use, this is really important. So in this example, this is going to be purely personal use. But if you have a business and personal use vehicle, you can separate the credit between the two parts. And that's really important because the business use credit it doesn't expire, right? You can carry it forward to the extent you can't use it. Whereas the personal use credit, if you're not able to use all of it in the current period where you're claiming it, then it's lost, right? Which is unfortunate, but that's just the way the rules work. The election available for this year, so you can use either your 2022 income or 2023. The reason that is important, because if you make too much money in 2023 where it makes you ineligible for the credit, you can look back at last year and say, well, if my income was low enough last year, I'll use that instead as the test, and then I can claim the credit. So we'll have a look at that on the 8936 as well. So in the fact pattern here, we're going to have Adam. He's a single filing taxpayer, and in 2023, in October, he bought and took custody of a new 2023 Audi Q5, right? And so this Quattro vehicle, when we look it up on the website, we're going to find that it only gets that $3,750 credit. Now, Adam is going to have a sufficient amount of tax liability to absorb this, so he's going to get full credit for the $3,750. So if we have a look at his return here, let's look at the 8936, and we'll also take a look at the FuelEconomy.gov website. So if we go here to the FuelEconomy.gov website, this is where you would look up how much of the credit is available for your type of vehicle. And so I'll put a link to this below, but this is the total list for all 2023 models, and we can see that the one that Adam purchased at the top here, this Audi Quattro, is available. The credit amount available here is $3,750, right? Versus some of these other ones, you can see they get the full $7,500 credit. So we know that Adam, based on the vehicle make and model he bought, and when he purchased it and placed it into service is also very important, right? So the rules changed for vehicles that were bought and placed into service after April 18, 2023. So in our case, October 2023 is when he bought it and took possession of it, and so we're using the vehicle amounts that are within this range. Now, a little more on this clean vehicle the credit qualification. So if you look at, so this is the Treasury website where they put up some of this guidance. When they talk about the critical mineral requirements and the battery components, what they're really getting at here is they want the vehicles to have the materials in the assembly, as much of it sourced to the U.S. or a trading partner as possible, right? So in order to meet the critical mineral requirement, the applicable percentage of the value of the critical minerals in the battery have to be extracted or processed in the U.S. or a country with which the U.S. has a free trade agreement, right? And so we can see the available percentages here that change from year to year. So for 2023, it's 40%, and then it goes on up from there through 2027. Battery component requirement, similar issue, right? So, was it manufactured and assembled in North America? And then look at the percentages. So that's why when we look at a vehicle like this Audi, you'll see that it's only half the credit because it's only meeting half of those requirements for this year. All right, so now let's have a look at the Schedule A. So Schedule A is where we complete the information on the type of vehicle that we purchase. But first, we should look at page 1, part 1, to determine if we can even claim the credit. So in part 1, we have the modified AGI amounts. So our AGI from 2023, he's got $89,500. So Adam's income, based on his wages, he doesn't have any investment income. $89,500 is his AGI. And then we can see he's entered his AGI from last year, right? Because remember, you can use the smaller of the two amounts. So last year, his income was $86,100. But for both of these years, his income is under the threshold. So the credit for business, not the credit for business or investment use, but in order to claim the credit at all, you can't have your income. If you're a single filing taxpayer, it can't be over $150,000, $300,000 if married filing joint. So Adam's income is well below that $150K mark. So the credit for business or investment use, we are skipping that over because we are not doing we don't have any business use component. Adam purchases purely for personal use. And so when we look at the Schedule A, we're going to complete it as such. So Schedule A, we have the make and model. So 2023 Audi Q5, and you enter the VIN number is required, right? So we go ahead and enter the VIN number, and then the date that he purchased the vehicle and place it into service. So remember, the place in a service component, the rules change whether you buy the vehicle and take custody of it, place it in the service between January 1 and April 18th, or then after that through the end of the year. So in this case, we're post April 18th. We've got an October 1 date that it's placed in service. Was it used primarily outside the United States? No, we're using it solely in the U.S. Does the VIN number entered on line 2 identify a new clean vehicle placed in a service during the year? So we check yes, and then go to part 2. So in part 2, we enter the tentative amount of the full credit that's available. So for this vehicle, we have $3,750 available. And then on line 10, we have indicated 0% that is being used for business or investment purposes. So multiply line 9 by line 10, which is 0, and then include the 0 amount here. And then you can also transfer this 0 amount to part 2. So part 2, line 6 here is just 0, right? So 0 business or investment use of this vehicle. All of it's just going to be personal. So we've got the $3,750 tentative amount of credit, 0% business use, $0 is allocated to business. So then on line 12 in part 3, it asks us to subtract line 11, which is 0, from line 9, and then enter the total here. So $3,750 of available credit. All of it's being allocated to personal use. So we take that $3,750 and transfer it back up here to part 3, line 9. So we've got part 3, line 9, $3,750. Enter the amount from our Form 1040, line 18. So this is the total tax that Adam owes based on his income. So if I go to page 2, looking at the tax and credits, line 18, he owes the $11,956 on his taxable income. So we transferred the $11,956 here. We don't have any other personal credits that are being applied. We're keeping his return pretty straightforward here, right? He just has his wages. He's taking the standard deduction, and then he has this EV credit. So we subtract line 11 from line 10. We're left with $11,956. And then the personal use part of the credit, right? Enter the smaller of line 9 or line 12. Smaller amount is $3,750. And so we enter that value there on line 13 and on Schedule 3, line 6F, right? So if we go up to Schedule 3, this is where we have our non-refundable credits in Part 1. And so the non-refundable credit that we have from the clean vehicle credit is reported on line 6F, clean vehicle credit from Form 8936. There's our $3,750 figure. Now you notice he doesn't have any other credits being applied here. So the total at the bottom, line 8, right? We add all these lines 1 through 4, 5A, B, and 7, enter the total here, and on Form 1040, line 20. All right, so we've got $3,750 of non-refundable EV credit, and we enter that amount on line 20, right? See, it says amount from Schedule 3, line 8, $3,750. So what we see here is Adam does have a sufficient amount of tax to absorb this credit. So he owes $11,956 on his taxable income of $75,650. He has a $3,750 EV credit, which reduces his total tax to $8,206. And then we can see the amount of withholding he has there from his wages. All right, so that covers it for this tutorial. I hope that was helpful. Remember, very important to check what type of vehicle you purchased, what time of year did you purchase it, and then look it up on those websites to determine how much of a credit you can actually claim, because it has to meet those critical mineral component tests and the battery tests. So very, very important stuff. But I have other 8936 videos as well. I'll put those in the link in the description below. Go check those out. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks.